Good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome to School Through Spirit. I am your host, Yet Renee, here at WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio. Now, this is a show to explore different lives, their journeys, and how spirit has impacted it. Good Monday morning, everybody. Oh boy, it's some feedback coming on there. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm saying hi to myself. Anyway, we're just gonna go Mercury retrograde and Monday morning there. So this really is a show that has impacted how spirit has impacted people's lives. Now we will be talking with people from different modalities of spirituality and others that have found spirit to have impacted their life. Now each week I do start the show with a small discussion which spirit gives me, and then I move on to my guest. Now today's guest is Miss Deb. As we all know, I'm not even going to try to massacre her last name. God love her. She's amazing. And I really don't want to put the last name in my mouth out to your ears and for you to forever think of her as that. So, and it's probably just as simple as can be. But either way, today's topic, let's go to that. Now my producer is going to have a fun with this one because it's surrender. It is surrender. And why I think it's funny is because I had a little thing. I already had glitches. I've had glitches all weekend on this computer. Literally on Friday, I got done with the workday. I clicked close and everything on my computer disappeared. And I just went, ugh. And I just let it go and thought maybe when I come back, it'll be there. Well, I came back 2 days later and boom, it was there. I was like, oh, okay, I got this. I can get into the internet. I can do this. I can do that. I can meet all my classes. I can do everything I need to do. And I didn't worry much more about it. And then this morning I go to get on and it's gone again. Turns out, I mean, for all the professionals out there, y'all know I probably hit the dock menu, which thank God I have a producer that can figure that out. But literally I had to just go, F my life, we'll figure this out, okay? And for all those out there listening, we're no longer on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube, the YouTube channel instead, if you wanted to see me, that being the WLTK-DB channel on YouTube. So you can find us there if you want to see the visual. Okay. So let's go back to that topic of surrender. Now it's funny because surrendering, first I need to slow down, take a breath and just go woosah. Or are we talking super fast all day? So surrendering is something that, let's just say I've struggled with most of my life. I have struggled with this word most of my life, okay? And what I mean by that, it's giving up control. It's giving up that ability to just go whatever. It's getting in my head. It's ego. It's all of it. And it is something I have strongly struggled with, and I still do today. Even when spirit gave me this topic, I went, no, I don't want to talk about this. No, I don't. Not me, not today. It's also one that I have actually been contemplating on making into a course, is letting go and surrendering. Okay, so and I know to some people out there, you understand what the word surrender means. It just means letting go, blah blah blah. It really, and that's what it is. It really is that simple. It's just as simple as saying, I'm letting go. Okay. Letting go and trusting. Okay. It is really that simple. It's just going, woof, whatever happens, happens. I'm letting go. I'm letting this happen and moving on. But how do you get to that? Okay. There takes a few steps. Step number one, you need to start checking your ego. You need to get control of your ego. And I know we've talked about ego before, so let's have a little bit of a recap on that, okay? Being ego is that the belief or your formulation of your beliefs based on your judgments and preconceived ideas, just a whole tons of stuff, really forms your ego. When it comes down to what I perceive ego to be is a lot of self-talk in your head. And it's not always the positive kind, okay? A lot of time, self-talk in our head is that negative stuff. And it's not that, we can talk ourselves up in a positive way. Yo, ho, ho, go. We're great, we're amazing, we're all this. And that's awesome because that's part of ego too. But it's really that negative type of stuff, okay? It's really the negative type of stuff that we talk about with ego. or at least I do. Okay. So it's I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what's going to happen here. Oh my God, I'm not worthy to do this. How could I be the one chosen to do this? All of that. And it gets crazy. It gets crazy what goes on in our minds, in our heads. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to the act of surrendering is to acknowledge that. Acknowledge that. That's huge. Okay. The next thing I'm going to have you do is give it a name. Give it a name. And the reason I do that, one, is not just because my mentor taught me this procedure, because it's phenomenal, but two, because it works. Like me, I'm playing with a Shiva today. I love this little rock. It's all about birthing. That's what this rock's about, birthing new things, new directions, new things happening. I love this rock. And believe it or not, I bought it on Amazon. Thank God I got a good quality one. Because I wasn't sure. I didn't get to personally pick it. I surrendered to whatever was going to get sent to me. But let's go back to this. So you're going to name your ego. Okay. My ego is name. And this does not mean cause a split personality. I don't want two of you. No two people. No two or more personalities. It's still one personality. We're just naming the ego. And the reason for that is because in our society, in our minds, in our worlds, we tend to need something tangible or concrete to give it that ability for us to talk to it, okay? For us to acknowledge it. So we are going to name it, okay? So this is mine. Mine is Little Debbie, okay? And I'm not trying to infringe on copyright laws or anything like that, because I'm not, okay? But it is Little Debbie. Sorry, I had something in my hair. It is Little Debbie. And for obvious reasons, not just because of fat, okay? I should say big and beautiful. Either way, it is because during the period of time that I was dealing with this portion of finding my ego, I had literally put on all my weight. I literally, in a very short amount of time, created this body. And I went, how did I do this? Well, I did it stopping at the gas station, buying a lot of Little Debbie's cakes and things of that nature, because that's what I did to work through it. I fed my face. Okay. So when I was told to name my ego, I struggled with that. How do I give it a new name? Do I call it Bob? Do I call it Henry? Do I call it Susan? Do I call it, whatever? I didn't know. And nothing seemed to fit. Nothing seemed to fit. And then all of a sudden I looked over at a Little Debbie's cake and I went, oh my God, that's perfect. Why? Because they're so nummy. It's so bad for me. So bad for me. Well, so is my ego. Why? Because I was listening to it all the time. And my ego told me I wasn't able to do anything in life. So I called my ego Little Debbie. Okay. But it helps because every time my ego starts jumping in, and instead of going, oh my God, if it says, oh my God, you're too fat to wear this, it doesn't look good on you, blah, 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 blah. Instead of going, yes, I do, and trying to counteract it that way, because that's a lot of effort to go, but I do look good at it. You end up having this conversation, just doesn't quit, and you don't tend to win. I was able to go, Little Debbie, shut up. Oh my God, I'm done listening to you. Little Debbie became a nagging little sister I didn't want to deal with. And I didn't have to deal with. Why? Because I'm grown up now. I'm grown up now, and nobody tells me I have to carry a little sister with me. By the way, I don't have any little sisters. But that's about the nature of the game. So name that ego. Get control of the ego. Stop the negative self-talk. Okay? That's going to be the first act of surrender. Why? Because you cannot have anything telling you you can't do this. You can't do it. Can't have anything telling you you can't do it. Can't have anything telling you, oh my God, you're not good enough. Because you won't surrender if you do. Okay. Now, the next thing is another thing that I struggled with. And I'll tell you why I struggled with this hard too, AKA why I was always in my head, and sometimes still am. It's getting mindful of your present place of being. It's getting mindful of what is going on right now in your world. Being present, not being 10 seconds in the future, not being 10 seconds in your past, but being right here in the right now. And that tends to be really something that's hard, really something that everybody tends to struggle with. And I don't know if it's because their moms or dads or schools or counselors, everything always says, plan for your future, plan for your future. We just go, oh my God. Or they're like, learn from your past. Da, 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 oh my God. And we have all these crazy things going on. But nobody ever says just be present and still, unless you're listening to Buddha or a monk or something of that nature. And I'm not trying to just kind of pigeonhole this someplace. I'm looking at more of the global, what we tend to look at. But when we sit there, okay, and we unpigeonhole it and we get into our own personal present period of time, and that really is just going, woof, I'm right here, right now at this moment. I'm experiencing what's happening in this moment. I've got no preconceived idea of what's going to happen in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 10 years. I don't really care about what's happened in the past because the past is gone. I can no longer worry about it. And trust me, this is not a situation where I've got to learn. I've got to look back at my past and learn about it to create a better future. Because trust me, you've already had those experiences. You've already experienced it. Okay? 110%, you've experienced your past. And if you need more experiences of your past, it's going to show up in your future anyway. So again, why worry about it? Why worry about it? Until you're dealing with it at that moment. And when you deal with it again in the future, which is now your present, oh my God, I'm starting to confuse myself. Trust me, if you're being in a present day moment, like right now at this exact time, dealing with it, you're going to have a different outcome than you would have before. Why? Because you're not going to have a preconceived idea of what's going to happen with it. You're just going to experience it for all it is today. And that's a big thing of surrendering is being present, being aware, being right now. Okay? Being right now in this moment. It's huge. And as you notice, the next thing I'm going to talk about, because I've kind of talked a little bit about it already, is preconceived judgment. Okay? That is a huge one. That's a huge one. That's really big. And not to say all of these things are not big, because they are. They're all huge. They're all really huge. Especially what I will say, they're all huge until you start to live in this world of surrendering, and then they become very small. But until you start to deal with this stuff, it's really hard. So let's talk about that preconceived judgment of something that's going to be. Okay. And when I say preconceived judgment, I really do mean control. Control. Oh, I said it, that word control. Because we all want to control. We all want to control. And it's funny because how many times have you heard this saying, you can't control others, but you can control yourself. You can't control somebody else's attitude or what comes out of their mouth, but you can control yours. You control your thoughts. You control your mouth. You control your attitude. Okay. So I don't mean just that type of control. I'm also talking control of an outcome. Control of an outcome. Because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I hate to say that to you. It's going to happen. Stop trying to control what is going to happen. And all this is going to make sense in a few minutes, because I'm going to kind of bring it all together when I talk about on a medium aspect, okay? A medium or psychic aspect. But stopping to have that control. Stop saying, oh my God, this is how this is going to be, or this is how that's going to be, or this is how this is going to be. And instead, just live in the moment, do all you can in this present, and then let the dice roll where they may. And then go, wow, probably wasn't so bad anyway. Maybe it was better for you than what you wanted to do anyway. I'll tell you what, that happens to me all the time. That happens to me all the time. I will want something to happen the exact same way that I see it in my mind. And when I go, wait a second, stop. No. Just gonna let go, let God, let whatever, and whatever happen, happen. I'm just gonna deal with what I have to right now. And it's really cool because what tends to happen in the end may not be what I wanted, but it's something so much better. Now it's funny because as I'm flipping my hands around here, I'm actually kind of looking at my fingernails. And I don't know if anybody in YouTube world can see them. There's a lot of glitter and gold, but they're mermaid nails, okay? And not too many adults are walking around with mermaid nails. But we had my granddaughter's birthday party. It was a mermaid themed birthday party. And I went in to get my nails done and I picked out a certain colors and blah, blah, blah. And I said I wanted mermaid tails on these fingers and everything else. And it's funny because whenever I go to get my nails done, she always says, "What do you want?" And I pick out a general color and I tell her whatever she chooses works. Because I'm always like, it's just another act of surrender. Okay. And I actually told her what I wanted this day. And she looked at me, she goes, "This color not gonna," she's like, "That color is not gonna show up. Let's try this one." And I told her the theme I was having. She goes, "Oh, hold on. I got a whole nother set of colors for you." Oh, awesome. She's like, "Let's use this one." And it's really cool because it's white, but yet if you turn it in the light, it turns pinks and purples and all these all in all sparkly. Cool. And I told her I wanted like a mermaid tail on this one. She goes, "Oh, how about we do scales?" So much better. And I'm like, okay. And it was funny because when she got done, I was like, "Oh my God, I love it." And other people in the party that were there just to support my granddaughter ended up going with the same design because everybody else had their own preconceived ideas of what they wanted. And this design turned out to be so much better. Now, grant you, everybody picked their own colors and whatnot, but it was cool how that act of surrendering, just letting go, going in with my own ideas and allowing spirit or whatever to work to come out with something better. Do you see this, how this is working? It's pretty awesome. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you, and this is probably the most important thing of surrendering, is relax. Just relax. Relax. Let go. Just relax. Okay. Because we tend to get all this and then all tense and just can't handle it. And we need to learn how to relax. Just let go and relax. Okay. So how does this all fit into a medium standpoint? Because we know I am the medium. So let's talk about this. So when I look at a medium or psychic, let's go medium or psychic standpoint. Okay. And I'm trying to teach somebody how to do this job, how to do this work. That's really terrified. Because number one, I'll tell you what, anybody that AKA knows they're a medium or they're a psychic, but they don't know, have control of it, or they want to do the work, they don't know how, they're fighting with it, blah, blah, blah. They look at another medium or another psychic and instantly they create a podium and they lift that person up and they put them on it as if they're special or they're God, like they got magical, mystical Harry Potter powers. Okay. So number one, I'll tell you, take the medium off the pedestal, put them on the ground because they're no different than you. They're not gifted. They just have abilities. Okay. AKA, I could talk to dead people. AKA, my producer deals with technology. Not that these two worlds can't kind of mingle, but I'll tell you what, I'm sure if he needs to talk to somebody on the other side, he may not sit down and try to do it himself. He might call me up and say, "Hey," or somebody else that he knows and says, "Hey, I have problems with my computer. I'm going to call my producer and say, 'Hey,' because he's the one that talked me into this machine, but he knows the machine." So number one, people have abilities. No matter what they are, people have abilities. You might run really fast. You might be an interior decorator, just have a sense of fashion or style. Whatever it might be, I'm not going to put you on a pedestal because you know how to decorate. Don't put me on a pedestal because I know how to talk to dead people. Bingo, number one. Realize that you and everybody else that does this is the same as everybody else. Okay? Just abilities. That's all it is. It's just an ability. Number two, get out of your head. Okay? Relax. Get out of your head. Get out of your head. And what I mean by it is check the ego. So all this starts to come together as one. So checking the ego, getting out of your head, physically relaxing and being in the moment really is, I can't say It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, because when you start to do the work, they all mingle together. They all join together as a perfect unit. So after you figure out that you are not going to put yourself and or anybody else on a pedestal, that you're no more special than the next person, because really we're not. We're just like everybody else. Then this rest is going to mingle. So simultaneously, this is what you're doing. You're checking your ego. Why? Because your ego has no place in a reading. Why? Because your ego is your own interpretation on the information coming in. Okay? Trust me, if it doesn't work in the game of post office and it doesn't work in the game of gossip with your friends, how is it ever going to work in a reading? It's not. Because I'll tell you what, works the same in spirit as it does with real life. If your best friend tells you something, right? And you go and tell somebody else, another one of your ego friends, but you put your own twist on it, you put your own interpretation on it, not as the friend gave you, but your own interpretation. The third person is not going to get the correct information, are they? It's really going to kind of get hazy. And by the time they pass it on to the next person, they put their own interpretation on it. Oh my God, we're so far from what the truth is. It's not even funny. And that's how the rumors get started, right? Bingo. So let's go back to this. So get your ego unchecked. Why? Because we can't have our own interpretation. We can't have our own preconceived judgments on this. So when spirit gives me information, I got to be able to take it in and spit it out, take it in and spit it out. And that's not always easy, because sometimes I sit there going, oh my God, I look like a damn idiot, because what is coming out of my mouth? And I'll look at somebody and go, does this make sense to you? And they're like, perfect sense. Leave it alone. Okay, there you go. It's yours. I don't want to undo it. It's yours. I said it. I can't take it back anyway now. So that's a big one. Getting out of my own way, just spitting out is huge. So A, I've checked my ego. B, I'm spitting it out. C, just relax, letting it happen, allowing this stuff to flow, allowing it to flow. And when you're living in that present moment with all this beautifulness comes together and you're in that present moment, magic happens. Magic happens. Okay? You're an amazing interpreter when it happens. And I'll tell you what, let's use that word interpreter, because that's exactly, and if you can't understand, you're having a hard time understanding what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the spirit part, because God knows not all the people that listen to this show or watch this show are all about spirit. A lot of them are just everyday people going, oh my God, what is she talking about? Let's go on to translations. Okay. If I don't speak Spanish at all, or French or Russian or any of them, I don't at all. But there's people that do, and they're called interpreters, and they're pretty amazing because they have to be in the exact moment. They can't have preconceived judgment. They can't change what the person's saying. They can't do all this, and they have to be in the exact moment. And they're literally going, they're listening, da 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 da, listening, da 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 da, listening, da 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 da. Okay? Same thing with mediumship. We listen, da 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 da, listen, da da da, listen, da da da, or see or feel or whatever. But we just take in the information, we pass it over. Taking the information, pass it over. And we have to be in a very present awareness moment to do that. Because if we're out of that present moment a little bit, what literally happens is everything just crashes around us. It just crashes. Because we're out of sync. Can we still connect? Yeah, we can still connect. Is that connection going to be what you want it? No, not even close. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a, oh my God, why is this not working type thing going on. So we literally have to be in that present moment to go boom, 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 boom. Okay? So I hope everybody's with me on this, and I hope everybody's understanding of this. Okay? And I want you to realize all the different aspects that you can use surrendering with, okay? Because there's really, every person in this world can use this lesson, this talk on surrendering. Everybody can, okay? Everybody can. Let's take it out of context. Let's take and put it someplace else. You want a woman or a man in your life? Let's go there. So you put in the wish, the want, I want this. Okay, I want this. You make a list of all the things you want in that companion. Boom, boom, boom. Long hair, short hair, body, no body, whatever. You put your list in. Blue eyes, brown eyes, nice, not nice, whatever it might be. Now I want you to take that list because you're only going to give that, you're only going to give it a few moments. I want a relationship. I want this in my life. And this is exactly what I want. And you're going to document it. Then you're going to take that piece of paper. You're going to fold it up. You're going to tuck it away and you're not going to look at it again. You're not going to look at it again. Okay. And what you're going to do is then just throw it to God. You're going to throw it to spirit. You're going to throw it to the wind, whatever you're going to throw it to, and you're going to allow it to happen. Okay. And before you know it, all of a sudden you're going to have somebody walk into your life that fits that list. Really does fit that list. But maybe with some tweaks. Now you're going to have one or two choices you can do. You can either, because maybe they leave the toilet seat up. Maybe they don't put the toothpaste back on the cap. Maybe, they pick their teeth. Maybe they got the list plus a few little extra things. Now, either you can throw that to me and say, okay, nope, I'm only holding out for exactly what's on that list because I know exactly what I want. And take the chance of waiting years for that exact match to show up. Or you can surrender to the process and allow what met every list on that to you with all their extra little quirks. And allow it to be the most magical, beautiful thing you've ever had. Because I guarantee you when they die, you'll miss the fact that the cap wasn't on the toothpaste. Or you'll miss the fact that, you know what? I hate walking in and not seeing that toilet seat up, not because it's something they always did and I knew they were here. So learn to surrender, guys. Learn to surrender to the process. Learn to surrender to it all. Learn to be aware in the present day. And enjoy life. Now we're going to take a quick break. I hope you enjoyed that little discussion. And when we get back, we'll have Miss Deb here. This is Jet Renee here on School Through Spirit with WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio.
Controlling transmission. WLTK-DB. Let's talk paranormal evidence. We scour the internet searching for true paranormal captures.
Hi, Deb.
And education. New methods mixed with.
Hi. You're muted.
Phenomena.
You have to unmute yourself.
Further for your ghostly voices than ghostly.
Almost.
Okay.
Perfect. Gotcha. Hi.
Hey, and my last name is pronounced Thru.
I figured it was, but I'm like, I ain't going. I suck with names so badly. So I
do too.
I always make a joke of in the beginning going, I'm not going to put that name on them. So we have.
It's fine. I have a delay here. Do you know? Can you see that, or is that just me?
It might be you a little bit, but if it's on us, we'll figure it out. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to sweat the small things this morning because I didn't even have a computer this morning when we started.
Your producer's saying it's on my end. Do you want me to log out and log back in real quick?
I'm fine with it because the delay, I can hear you. It's just I'm seeing it with your face. That's all.
Okay. I don't care.
Yep. And like he says, it'll all balance out, so we're
all
good.
Right.
So like you said, we have that going on. He's going to let me know when I'm going to start to talk, when I'm going to need to go to break, all that wonderful stuff. Okay.
And how long am I on till?
We're on until 10:30 for an hour.
Perfect.
Good. Awesome. Glad. I am so happy you came in,
Oh, I'm so happy you asked me.
I love it because we've been trying to kind of meet at different tables. Like, hey, can you come? I can't. So it's like it's finally happening somehow.
We're finally meeting and spending some quality time.
That's right. Here we go. Welcome back to School Through Spirit here. I'm Diet Renee, your host here on WLTK Digital Radio. I have with me Miss Deb Thru. I asked her or she told me how to pronounce her name because I tell everybody I suck at names. So good morning, Deb. How are you?
Good morning. I am great. I'm so happy to be here with you. We've been trying to connect forever. So it's great to be here.
We have. And it's funny because for everybody listening, I in the past have done hundreds of metaphysical wellness events and all over 5 or 6 states. And Deb would find me at them and come to my table and say, can you come on this date? Oh my God, I'm booked. And now I don't do many events, so I don't see you. So I'm glad we were able to get together. So
I love Zoom.
Oh, isn't it great? Isn't it great? It's awesome. So Deb, can you tell everybody who you are, what you're about, what you do? Because I think it's really important.
Well, about 37 years ago or so, I was in the middle of a divorce and I had this big message to get a deck of tarot cards. Now, this was back in the day when there was no Barnes and Noble, there's no Borders bookstore, there's no Amazon, there's no home computers, right?
Right.
I had never had my cards read. I had never seen a tarot card. And I had no idea, where do I look for this? Yeah. I finally, in a tiny little shop in Evanston, Illinois, I found 2 decks and I did my very, very best to learn them. I was terrible at it, terrible. And I went to a party and there was a reader there and I realized that night that I just had the wrong deck. Oh, wow. I wasn't connecting with my deck. And so I got her deck because when I looked at her cards, I knew exactly what they said. Okay. So I've been reading professionally for 35 years now. Wow. And my business was solely tarot reading for all these years until 8 years ago, right. When I decided I wanted to have a picnic at my house. I live in a log cabin on a lake in the woods, 2 hours west of Chicago.
That sounds dreamy.
So if I want to, oh, it is. But if I want to see my psychic friends, I get into my car and drive and see them. And they offered one night to come out and we would do a bonfire and go out to dinner and do readings for each other. And I thought, yeah, let's do that. So they came out. We had a fantastic time. The Perseid meteor shower was going on. Oh my God. And they drove 100 miles each way to get there. Wow. And when they left at 11:30 at night, they said to me, they didn't want to leave. And I'm falling asleep. And they're like, just do it again next year, same time. And so I did. At the second year, I started to realize that something was going on here, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Right. On the third year, now, mind you, this is my backyard. Every year, twice as many people are showing up, right? Wow. So we get to year 3, and I think I got to make this kind of bigger because I've got all these people and they don't really know me. They're friends of friends of friends. Right. And so I got a fire dancer and a storyteller and a Celtic music duo. And, this was all in my backyard. Wow. So the storyteller tells a story about a mortal man who marries a fairy. It was a great story. Yeah. And when he was finished, one of the people in the group, in my core group now I have a core group because I'm 3 years in. Her name is Linda Wilkes, and she's a walk-in soul.
Okay.
So she stands up and says, Pan, who's the head of the fairies, has just told me that if we all say his name 3 times, he'll appear. I'm telling you, every time I tell that story, the hair on my arm stands up.
Wow.
So I looked at the group and I said, let's do it. Well, before we go there, I want to digress for a moment and tell you that it was like 100 degrees that day.
Right.
And it was still sunny out. It was at least 1,000% humidity. It was just a crushing day.
Right.
And I give all these people so much credit for coming and sitting when everybody really just wanted to get into air conditioning, right? And we're all in my backyard. There's no breeze. There's no breeze. There's no nothing. And behind me is a big, what I call the wild space. And it's just a wild area. It's huge. So I look at the group and I say, let's do it. So we say Pan's name 3 times. We dragged it out. Pan, Pan. And after we say it the 3rd time, I turned around and looked at the wild space, and all the trees and the plants are all just like, oh God, I'm so hot and tired and I need breeze, I need rain. But there's one bush, a big bush in the corner that was shaking like it was in a hurricane.
Wow.
And I looked back to the group and I said, am I the only one seeing this? And I looked at them and their jaws were open. So now I know something's going on. I'm supposed to be doing this, but I don't know what it is. That year, my husband, and when it was all over, my husband said, you know, I really would like it if you would find a new place for this. We have 1 bathroom in our house, you know, and I was, yes, renting those things. But
Right.
he said, I'd really like you to just move it. So I moved it to this luxury B&B that's basically around the corner from my house.
Right.
And another funny thing happened. I didn't tell him why I was there. I told him that I wanted to have an event there.
Right.
And they're giving me the tour and showing me around. And then the owner joins us and says, so what is this, like a family reunion? Is it a wedding? And I looked her dead in the eye and I said, we're all psychic. And she said, her eyes just opened up and she said, I've been waiting for you. So I knew I was at the right place at the right time. And now I'm thinking, what is this all about? Why are we getting together?
Yeah.
And I realized that one of the things that I really hated about being a tarot reader was all the competition. People are constantly undercutting each other, stealing each other's stuff off the internet, you know, just really I was up to here with it.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, we could do so much better work if we were working together.
Yeah.
So I
recognize that you
morphed.
already are.
Well, I morphed the group into more of a networking group because nobody supports us. You know, we're just now coming out of the closet in history, you know. We're just now beginning to get accepted. And so I thought, you know, if they raise the curtain and say, okay, it's your time on stage, psychic people, and we're all in a knife fight because somebody's got a better web browser or web, you know, SEO than the other one. Oh, please, you know, so I said, let's just work together. And that was the basis of the group.
I love that.
Since then, we've gone in a lot of different directions. I've sort of like had themes because there's so many things to explore in the psychic world because you don't have to be a tarot card reader to come. You don't even have to be a psychic because really you are.
Right.
You know, but I always tell people, hey, if you're psychic curious, psychic adjacent, that's fine. You know, if you're a yoga master, come on, you know, come and join us.
Right.
So last year was COVID year. It was our 7th year. And of course, I couldn't have a live event. In a month and a half, I learned how to do a virtual event. And I got one of the top speakers on remote viewing in the country to do a 2-hour presentation.
That's
And she blew everybody away. She was just fantastic. So this year, I crossed my fingers and thought, okay, this has got to be over now. This whole isolation thing's got to be over. I'm going to start, selling
yeah,
tickets. I rent the B&B for 3 nights and 5 Airbnbs in the neighborhood and
right.
rent those out. So, and then there's lots of other, options out here. And yeah, I started selling tickets on faith basically. And our top speaker this year is Grant Cameron, who is for 40 years he was the top guy in the UFO field. Now,
That is
psychic people
cool.
are like this. Don't talk about UFOs to me. I'm finally getting accepted. And now you're bringing the crazy people in.
I love it because I'm looking at everybody going, I'm waiting for them to release documents going, I want to find out if Michael Jackson really was a squid.
Here's the
I'm like
thing.
ready for it.
Yeah, this is the thing. Who'd have known that the timing would be what it is with
Yeah,
UFO disclosure? Who would have
yeah,
known that? So
yeah.
again, another confirmation. Keep doing
Yes,
what you're doing. The
yes.
thing about Grant Cameron that's the most interesting is that he he was always about nuts and bolts. In other words, it's little green men in tin cans flying through the cosmos.
Mhm.
That's what's coming to Earth. He had a huge download in 2012 that basically showed him that no, 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 no. It's all consciousness. Everything, what you do, what I do, what the ETs are all about, it's
Right.
all consciousness. It's just consciousness expressing itself in another form.
Yep.
And and he has the most beautiful way of saying that everything is connected.
Hmm.
And this is the message that I want to bring to the psychic community. Well, besides that, I have some pretty awesome people coming. I have Jeff Lorky, who lives in Chicago. He's a guitarist in a metal band.
Wow.
And he has cameras set up all over his backyard in Logan Square. And he has the most insane light phenomenon in his backyard. You've never seen anything like it.
Right.
He has entities in his backyard that he photographs. He has video of craft that are in his yard. I mean, we're not talking like a dot in the sky. We're talking, you know, something really close by.
Right.
And so he's going to come and show us what he's got. And I cannot wait. I cannot
That is
wait. His pictures blow my mind.
that is so awesome.
He's yeah, and he has a real talent for catching this stuff. I mean, I catch it too. And
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, it's digital cameras that
Mhm.
made this happen.
Oh
If
yeah.
you go outside at night tonight and you have your phone, that's all
Mhm.
I use. You have your phone, turn the flash on so that it's on continuously, not just flashing for a picture. And
Okay.
you have it on continually during your videos shoot. I just stand in my on my dark deck and I just hold the phone with the light on, with the flash on constant. And you can't see this stuff with your naked eye.
Right.
But when you look at your captures afterwards, it's amazing. It's
Oh my God.
crazy.
I'm gonna have to do that tonight.
Do it tonight.
I will because
That's where
I
all
just
the
found out.
orbs are.
Yeah, I just found out last night my cat has decided to be an inside outdoor cat on its own, and its name is Buddha. But last night it was found in the garden we have that isn't flourishing very well. We watered it yesterday, and the cat's been was caught playing in the garden with we don't know what.
Oh
Just
my
playing.
gosh.
So
Well, again, this is, the light manifestation. Look, think about it. As human beings, the spectrum of light is huge, and we only see a tiny bit of it as humans.
yeah.
So digital cameras bring us the opportunity to see further into the spectrum.
Okay.
And because we can see the light, there's something else there. There's something else. It's telling us something else, that there's something else there. We just don't know what yet. So this is totally interesting and mind-blowing. But then he is going to be followed by Marcel Vidovic and Kimberly Marie. These are two people who are the top in their field, who work with Stephen Greer. I don't know if you know who he is, but he is huge in the UFO field.
Okay.
And Stephen Greer invented something called CE5. And CE5, you've heard of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because
Right.
there's a movie.
Right.
Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind is we call the craft to us,
Oh wow.
and we're going to do it that night.
Oh my God. That would be so amazing. That'd be intense.
It's so fantastic. There's a lot of things going on in the background that are hard to explain, that we're doing to boost the signal, so
Right.
that when we do go out there, we should be able to, really, really have some real sightings. So
Wow.
excited about that. And then, of course, Grant,
Right.
his 2 hours of showing how it's all connected and how important it is for us to stop putting things in separate buckets and stop the separation,
Right.
because it's the separation that brings the ego, and the ego only brings us trouble.
I was just talking about that.
I
Yeah.
know, and I thought, boy, does that fit, because it's the ego is good to keep you from putting your hand on a hot stove and
Yes.
crossing the street.
Yes.
But really, it's overthinking is the bane of our existence.
Yes.
And overthinking causes us to get lost in the ego. And then suddenly, oh, I've discovered something that you know nothing about. Yes, that's all very interesting, but you don't know what I know. And
Yep.
no.
Yep.
Take a step back. This is your ego playing with your mind,
Yep.
trying to convince your mind that you are special. You're not special. We
Mhm.
are all one.
That's why I always tell people, take us off the pedestal,
That's right.
put us next to it, push it over.
That's right. That's right. And so I always had just one jam-packed day for my event. It
Right.
was just like jam-packed. And now we're doing 4 days.
Wow.
Starting out on a Thursday night when everybody checks in, we're going to go out to dinner together and come back and watch a movie that I think is really going to set the stage for what happens the rest of the weekend.
Right.
And then speakers all day Friday, all day Saturday, and ending with our CE5 calling the craft in. And then Sunday morning is our goodbye breakfast. And it's just going to be a mind-blowing experience. If you come for the whole weekend,
Right.
you're don't come alone. This is what I want to say. Don't come alone, because you're going to need somebody to talk to.
I love this. I love how you got this idea and how it's just grown and grown. And here I am going, and I want to get out of present moment and go, what's next year about? You know what I mean? Like,
well,
it's
let
like,
me
we'll
tell you
do
how let me tell you how that works. So somewhere between now and next January, a little bead drops into my head and opens up like a flower, and it shows me the whole year, the whole event.
Oh my
And then
gosh,
it's just my job to make it all happen. But
that
I
is
can
so awesome.
see what it's going to be and who's going to be there and how it's going to work. And the parts that I don't know fall into place when the time is right. So it's really, really fun. This is my joy.
That it sounds like it's a huge work that takes you months upon months upon months to do,
I
you
don't
know?
call it work. I really don't. It's my joy.
Oh, wow. I sit back and I can't tell you how many times I've sat back at events or this or that, and I go, I am so glad I don't do that because I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like just to call someplace to rent would be like, oh, too much.
I'm I'm a party planner at heart, I think.
Oh, there you go. Because I'm not. I got the ideas, but to bring it off is a whole nother world. I love it. So I want to digress a little bit to your tarot readings.
Sure.
Okay. Only because I want to, are you still doing the tarot readings
Yes.
professionally? Are you still
Yes.
reading for people? I love that. How are you finding, because I want to talk about how you find people affected that and by, the event you have every year, but how do you find that affecting other people's lives?
As far
Because,
as
well, because, there was, because this is my world along with yours, and I remember going back. I remember going to the $10 psychic. You know what I mean? That threw 3 cards
I used to
down.
be the $10
Yeah,
psychic.
and really all. If you remember back in those days, everybody wanted to do so much more, but really all they said is what was going on in your life right now.
Mhm.
Because if they went a little bit further, that was almost taboo. That was just against religion. It was against society. It was against everything. So how have you found this to really evolve for your not only what you do as a connection with the cards, but for other people and how they're impacted by it? Does that make
Well,
sense?
yeah, it's interesting. Things have changed a lot over the years, over the course of my career. Um, I think it's hard to know who's sitting, across the table from you until you look inside, until you make the connection.
Right.
And one of the ways that I've sort of I feel like I don't want to do those readings anymore where is he still thinking about me? Or, you know,
Yeah.
uh, are we going to get back together? I really don't want to do those readings because I feel like there's so much that we need to accomplish in this life. And the boyfriend stuff is going to take care of itself
Yeah.
unless we're addicted to the bad stuff. And then, oh, yeah, you definitely need you need a talking to, you need a mirror held up.
Right.
But so I'll be honest with you, one of the ways that I get to the people that I think really, really have the bigger questions is the price point. Um, I'm not when I first started, okay, 35 years ago, charging money, you would get an hour reading for $15.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not that way anymore.
Right.
Um, and that tends to bring the people to me that have really either serious multi-layered questions or are searchers, and those are the kinds of things that I'm the best at facilitating
Right.
conversation in.
Yeah. And I love that because I know, like, for myself, now, like, at the end of the show, I do bring out the oracle cards, and I do a reading for the week using the cards. But like within my own readings, as you know, there's no cards on my table. It's just me. It's me and a crystal, and the crystal's there to support me. You know what
Right.
I mean? That's all there is to it. So for myself, I know when people sit down and start to ask those questions, first thing I go, oh my God, it's like, is that really what you want to know? So, and then instead of looking at the psychic side and go, and I won't just say psychic side, but looking at that side and looking at that question based on what they want, I actually just go soul to soul to the boyfriend or the ex or whatever and go, hey, do you want to talk? You know what I
And
mean? I'm going to get it from source.
well, also when people say to me, are we going to get back together or something like that, I'll often reply, what's the real question?
Yeah, there you go.
Because you really that's we can answer that question, but what are you really shooting for here? Where are you taking your life? Are you wasting your time, or are you you know, growing and becoming, you know.
Mhm.
Another thing that to answer the other part of your question is, I always wondered how far in the future I could see, and I realized that there's timelines that cross, and that you can't be. That's why no one's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you about this one reading that was pretty interesting. I was reading for a gay woman, and she said, you know, I just really want to be in a relationship. And I said, well, let's look and see, you know, what's in the soup. So
Right.
laid out some cards, and I said, you know, it's funny. I've seen this card a million times, but I want to tell you that I feel like that there's a woman coming your way, and her energy is so light. I want to say she's a sprite. She's just flits from here to there, but it's from a place of wisdom. And she's it appears like she doesn't care, but she's actually learned so much in her life that she knows what she can do and she doesn't care what other people think. So we
Right.
left it at that. Now this was again back when there were no computers. Okay, we did this on the phone,
Right.
and then people would mail me a check for $15. Okay.
Yeah.
And when she paid, and then a year and a half later, she wrote me a letter, a handwritten letter saying, "Remember Sprite? Well, that's her name. And
Oh
I
my gosh.
just met her and we are in love." And I was just like, that's crazy, but I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break on that note. When we get back, I want to just kind of continue with that subject a little bit. But this is, again, Diet Renee here with School Through Spirit on WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio. Take your moment to get your coffee, use the restroom, do whatever you got to do, because we'll be back after the news. So we're still playing on YouTube, but we're not on the news. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes,
I always tell people that.
I was watching us on YouTube. Am I still watching us on YouTube?
You might be.
Yeah, I am.
There you go. This is my first week of being on YouTube. So we've always done Facebook Live before. So I'm like super excited about this. But no, I loved how you're talking about that question. That's what it was so funny, because I always think about gosh, it's been probably 9-10 years ago now. Before I got into everything, I was still very much in my nursing world. I was dabbling. I knew who I was. I didn't know who I was, blah, blah, blah. But I was still psychic searching. And you know what that means? You're jumping from psychic to anybody to give you any answer, and none of them made sense. So every time I go and I'd see a reader, you shuffle the cards, ask a question. I always ask the same question and never got an answer back that made sense to me. And I was at that time, I was flying the country doing health education for big major corporations. And I had a day off, and I happened to be in Massachusetts. Okay. Boston, Massachusetts. And I went, oh my God, where's Salem? Because I'm geographically challenged. And they went 10 minutes down the road. I'm like, wow, this is cool. So my day off, I went to Salem and I walked the streets, and it was so amazing. And I went into this witch's shop, and it happened to be Laura Cabot, the number one witch in the United States. Her second shop, So I went in, and they said, "Would you like a reading?" And I went, "Yeah, why not?" At this point, I'd given up trying to find reading. Like, I'm never going to find my answer. I'm never going to know. So she has me, shuffle the cards, and I give them back to her, and she plays them out. And she's telling me how she sees me in the stars, and I'm this amazing person, and I'll be doing all these things. And at the very end, she comes back and she goes, "I'll be seeing you again." I said, "I don't know if I'll get to see him." She goes, "No, I'll be coming to see you, because your name is going to be in the stars. I'll be coming to seek you." And she looked up, she goes, "What is your question?" And I said, "I just want to know who I am." That's the question I'd asked every reader, is, who am I? Because I was so confused.
Yes.
So I still didn't get an answer per se, because I had to delve within. But it was probably the closest I'd ever gotten. And that one reading has always, I mean, no other reading has ever, said this is who it is, but that's the one reading that really stuck out. And it turned out, now I know, because now I've actually seen a picture of her. It was Lori's daughter. It was like, there you go. So
Oh my goodness.
I know back in the day when she still went to stores and did the readings. So,
Oh my goodness.
I know. So, and I know the last name's Cabot. I'm stuck with names. I remember the last name for the life of me, but yeah. So I always think that's interesting. I think that's why I always ask, how do the readings affect? How were you affected? How, because they're huge.
Absolutely.
They're
And
huge.
things change over time, things just change.
Yeah.
And people change and what's important changes and
And I'm still searching for the stars. I given up.
I think it's when you give up that they come around.
I gave up. I'm like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I love it.
I think we're almost done.
We are. We are. This is a point where I go, oh, it's the longest 60 seconds of my life. So I say, if you smoke cigarettes still, it's time to go smoke one really quick.
Office take Disney's Cruella. Kathleen Maloney, Fox News.
There's a recall this morning of a product that's been deadly. Fisher Price's 4-in-1 Rock and Glide Soothers. 4 babies died after being placed on their backs in the devices unrestrained and later found on their stomachs. The 2-in-1 Soothe Glider is also being recalled, though no deaths are linked to that. And Fisher Price is urging parents to follow warnings and instructions on its products carefully. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
You're still running your business. We didn't invent great sound. We perfected it. We are controlling transmission. WLTK-DB. Let's talk. Alternative Talk Radio. WLTK-DB.com.
Welcome back to School Through Spirit. I'm your host yet, Renee, here on WLTK, Let's Talk Digital Radio. I've had with me Deb Thru in here. I hope I said a few. I told you I screw up names every time. We have been talking about tarot and her event that goes on every year. I want to go on to, because I just realized we never announced anybody what the name of the event is. I went, wait a sec, we've been talking about, I know it's Metaphysical Tribe, correct?
It's the Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe.
Thank you. I love it. Now people know. We've been talking about it. Now we've been talking about before the break about the tarot readings and, those deeper questions and things of that nature. And what you hoped people come to find with you. How does that transcribe into the event that you host? What do you hope that really helps to affect other people or they take away from them?
That's a really good question. I have finally merged those two things because one of the things that I sort of realized about myself in, I don't know, maybe the last 10 years is that I'm always looking for the cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
What's the cutting edge of this aspect of life or that aspect of life? And so when I read for people, when I'm reading tarot, I that's why I don't like to talk about the small subjects, because I'm always reaching out to their largest possible expression of who they are. And so when I do my events, what I'm really trying to do is give people something to think about. I mean, some people I think will be shocked by some of the things they learn, and other people will say, oh yeah, that's old hat, but did you hear what she said over with it? Not me. I don't, my speakers say over there, because I have to be honest with you, I love attending my events because I learn so much. And
that's got to be the best front row seat there is.
So much fun. We have vendors and readers, and yeah, it's little music. I mean, we really do have a really good time. It's like a retreat.
Yeah.
You bond with everyone, And then you have people that you can go home and talk to. You can call them up or Zoom with them and go over some of the things that, you know, that you learned or that you'd like to know what it meant or, you know, I mean, geez, I was on the phone yesterday with a very famous abductee,
Oh, wow.
and we call them experiencers now.
Right.
And after we got off the phone, we hung up and my phone rang, but it didn't ring my ringtone. It rang for approximately 3 straight minutes of a screechy electronic tones.
Oh, wow.
And I just had a feeling like I should just not hang up. I should just listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the kind of thing where I want to turn around and turn to a friend and say, what do you think that was? You know, this
Yeah.
is an unusual thing that happened to me. What do you think that was? Interestingly, I did text the experiencer and I said to her, um, the strangest thing happened. I told her and she said, oh, read chapter 6 of my book, you'll laugh. And I read chapter 6 of her book. Sure enough, it's all the crazy things that happen on the phone with her.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow. See, normally I would have checked that off to, a fax dialing you.
right.
I
Except
mean,
not on my cell phone though.
right. Well, yeah. Well, I just know because for myself, when I was in the medical field all the time, it was normal for me to pick up the phone here and go, oh, and just hang back up, but now you have to stop, think, really, was it the fax or was it something else?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't it didn't sound like the fax. It sounded like something I never heard before. But the
that's
point
awesome.
being that you have, you can have a community that you can talk to.
Right.
And one of the things that we do is we ask everyone who comes. So let's say we're going to have 100 people.
Hmm.
We ask everyone who comes to bring 100 business cards and we put them in goodie bags so that if you forgot the name of the person you were talking to, you'll have their card.
It's right there.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, do you find that it's people just within the I mean, I know in the beginning you were talking about how, even if you're just psychically adjacent, do you find that it's more psychic mediums, spiritually minded, business type people that are coming, or do you find that it's a lot of different people that are very curious also?
Well, this year especially, we're having a real mix because, for example, someone from MUFON is coming, the Mutual UFO Network. I've never had a MUFON person attend before.
So
um,
cool.
so that's new. But generally, it's practitioners or people who want to get into it
Yeah.
and don't know where to turn. Or people who are interested in the speakers. Having Grant come this year is an incredible draw because
Huge.
everyone knows him. He's
Yeah.
number one in his field.
I love that. God, I love how the fact you're turning heads, you're making people kind of stay attention. You're bringing it into the forefront. You're close to me. You know, I mean, I'm just over the border, north of you, not far.
Hey,
But I've never come down because up until this year, I've never had availability. I've never had
right.
I've never had availability, but as all of our lives kind of shift a little bit, mine did too. So where do you
Exactly.
see the Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe going? Where do you see that going?
I really, assuming this year goes well, and I think it will because I think it's an idea whose time has come that everything is connected.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see more of a marriage of the psychic community with these other communities that think they're separate from us, but they're really not.
Right.
We all drink from the same well. It's just what tool do we use to
Mm-hmm.
get there, is the only difference between us.
Yeah.
So rather than, for example, there's a lot of tarot only um, symposiums and festivals and so forth, or astrologers only. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get together with those people, because you
Right.
should. It helps you learn more, get better at your craft. But in the end, there's got to be a place where all of these things can work together to see how they interface with each other and how they can help each other. One
Mhm.
of the things that has happened recently is a channeler who she took my tarot class, and she wasn't a channeler. She was just a young lady taking my tarot class. And she came for the second class, and she was um, unable to speak.
Mhm.
Something was caught. She just couldn't get the words out. And so I held onto her arms to ground her, and she began channeling on the spot.
Oh,
And
wow.
it turns out tarot wasn't her tool, channeling was her tool. Okay, but we opened the door,
Yeah.
and now she channels druids. She's going to be there channeling druids.
Wow.
And she told me, well, I met her at a benefit one year, and she said, "Yeah, I'm channeling a druid now." And I said, "Oh, let's go out to my car. I want to talk to him." So we
I would
did.
have I'd been like, can I go to the back seat?
So we sat in my car and chatted for a while. Um, but anyway, Katie, the channeler, has hooked up with Lisa, an astrologer, and they do tandem readings now. It's so impactful. I never would have been able to figure out how to make those two things mesh. They had the vision because they met each other, and what can I say? The rest is history. So these
Wow.
kinds of things keep happening now.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing that. I love how that impacts so many people.
Yes,
I'm gonna have to come this year or something, just to
you have
find
to.
if I have a different like modality I didn't realize I had. Because
It's
I'm always
true.
looking. I'm always looking. Like I love what I do. I love my craft. I know I'm really good at what I do, but there's always going to be more. There's
There's
always going to be
always.
something more. I know for myself, I'm getting into paranormal, and who'd have thought it wasn't my choice? Because I'm always like, I love to talk to my dead people, but I don't want them to run out and go boo. You know,
Well, the
scared.
interesting thing is paranormal just means not the normal stuff we see every day.
Yeah,
There's paranormal stuff going on all the time. Go outside tonight with your iPhone or your digital phone
right.
and prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
um, I would like to mention my website if that's okay, and
Oh,
that'll
you're
get
definitely. Oh, yeah. We were gonna get all over that because I want people to
okay.
find you. You
Well,
know.
we are, my website is internalwilderness.com.
I like that.
Yeah, I love it too. It's very evocative to me, and be living in the wilderness. And
Right.
there's a lot of drop down menus, and one of them is the Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe.
Right.
And beneath that are many more menus. So there's all the information you need. Plus, you can get a hold of me anytime. You can contact me, and all that's on the website. So
Yeah.
feel free if you have questions. I'm personally like to help people find the right fit for lodging and that sort of thing. So, you know, anybody out there who's listening to, this
Yeah.
is, I always want people to come and have the best time. If you have a modality and you would like to be a reader or a vendor, I love it when people raise their hand for that.
Yeah.
So, just please take a look at internalwilderness.com, go to uh, Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe, and you'll find all the information. So,
I think I'm going to this year because I find I have time. Now I have time. You know what I mean? There's like I said, I'm very selective on I'm selective on what I do anymore. Does that make sense? I'm just
yes,
Spirit told me, you know what, you don't have, and I'm not going to belittle anywhere I've been or done because all of them have been truly, truly amazing and gave me everything I needed. You know what I mean? But it's being more selective. of where I go, where I put my energies into. And because I want something, I'm going to stand up and say, I'm going to be greedy because I want something in return. I want an experience in return, not just always me giving out the experience.
Exactly.
that
I
makes
want to
sense?
say too that I've streamlined my business and I
Yeah.
only do two things. I read the tarot. Now I might read it over the phone for a personal reading or at a party, or, it could be any one of, many different ways, but that is it. And then the rest of my energy goes into what I really, really, really love to do, my playground, which is the Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe.
Wow, I love it. Some part of me wishes you still had it in your backyard, you know?
It it was fun. I hate to tell you what my insurance man said when he found out I had a fire dancer.
Oh no. Oh no. And that's funny because a few weeks ago on, I had a fire walker who also did glass walking on. So just, I can't imagine, I think that might have been something I might have held from insurance. Like, we'll talk about it later. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's done.
I did talk about it later. I didn't ask him first, and it's a good thing. So probably not too brilliant, but
He probably
oh
said,
well.
don't do it again. Don't do it
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
Don't do it again. I love it. I love it. So you know what? I'm going to ask a bigger question
Sure.
because you are the woman that supplies this to everybody else. And it is a supply in a lot of ways. You are giving experiences to so many people. What do you get as an experience back?
I am a connector. My joy is to talk to somebody who says, "Oh, I really need this. I really need that." And I can say, "I know somebody. Let me give you their number." That makes me happy. I don't need anything from it. You don't have to pay me a finder's fee. You don't have to call me up and tell me how wonderful I am. I get the joy out of making the connection. And one of the things about running this, well, conceiving and running this whole event every year is that I meet more and more and more people. And so I have a bigger pool of people that I can connect with other people. And I love to. Oops. I think we have
I think I
frozen.
just froze.
You're good.
I froze, not you. I froze. I went, oh no, I froze. Like, I'm over here starting to panic, going, just breathe, let it be, let it be. I like that's experience that you're getting, because is we are always, especially in our world, we're always giving and giving and giving. That's what we do. People kind of look at us like some of us, and I'm not going to say you or me or the guy next door, but they look at us like we charge these extraordinary fees or whatever, but really they're not in our shoes to realize what we're doing is we're giving all the time. We're giving, so, and it's got to be more than a monetary receive back, or we wouldn't be able to keep doing what we do, because we need to keep this whole too.
It's true. And I have to say that when you receive back, it isn't always in the moment. So if I do a reading, then I'll get paid. Okay, so that's in the moment. But if I connect you with someone, somewhere down the road, that comes back around to me, and that makes me happy. It's a surprise little thing that I needed in my life, and it'll just show up when I need it. So
Yeah.
I live on that note. And that's part of the reason that I love it so much, because I know what goes around comes around.
Yeah. And it really does, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone to events and sat there and nobody walks through the door at all. And
Yeah,
you've paid this fee to sit there, and a hotel fee, and you're quite a bit into it, and nobody's coming through the door, and everybody's like, they're getting mad around you. And I'm like, you know what? We're here for a reason. And next thing you know, I'm in somebody's documentary because I talked to another vendor that's doing something. And now I've got a bio that says documentary on there, or whatever, because a lot of different things have happened because of just letting go and letting things like that happen, letting
exactly.
those connections happen.
Exactly.
I love that. So I just literally heard, I was thinking of another question to ask you, and they literally just said, ask her what she's having for dinner. I'm like, what? What is,
This is a running joke with me. I
is
don't know.
it?
Yes, if you follow me on Facebook on my personal page. So
Okay,
I have a Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe group page that's public. Anybody can join it.
right.
And so it keeps you up with what's going on with that event. But if you follow my personal page, which is deb.thru,
Uh-huh.
I'm a chef. And so I
Oh,
love to make the crazy food and
okay.
then put it up on Facebook. And last night, it's funny, tonight is nothing special, but last night, I just really wanted a T-bone steak and a Caesar salad. And so
Oh,
I
I think
made
I've
it,
seen that. Yes.
but I didn't photograph it. I was like, you don't have to show everybody everything that you eat. So I didn't
Okay.
put it up there.
I love it. I love it.
But I also have a cooking video. I have cooking videos from when I used to work at an organic food place, because people weren't buying organic food because they don't know how to cook. So I would do these really simple recipes, and people could figure them out and do them. So yeah, honestly, I mean, cooking is my avocation.
I had not a clue. I had not a clue. And it's funny because I used to send out, it is so funny because I used to send out a list of questions I was going to ask somebody. You
Mhm.
prepared, me be prepared, blah, blah, blah. And Spirit said, give up the list, just go and, so I'll look at them when I'm blank and I'm like, what should I ask? And they'll tell me. So when they said that, I was like, we are going something. She's going to look at me like, really?
I made homemade chorizo. That's what we're having tonight, chorizo tacos.
Oh, that
So
sounds amazing. That really sounds amazing. So, you know what? This is one question I ask everybody. If you were going to sit back and think about one thing you were going to tell somebody, really tell somebody that you want them to think about long after you're gone, something to affect them, what would you tell somebody?
that you can make something out of nothing. It's all intention.
I
You
love
just because just because you don't think it's possible doesn't mean it's not possible. So open that door, and just have the intention. For example, this morning I was talking to my mother. She doesn't think she couldn't come to my event this year, and she always comes to my event, and she's famous in her own right. And so I love having her there, and everybody knows her. And she doesn't think she's going to make it this year. And I said, Mom, just put it out there.
Right.
We don't know how it could possibly happen, but just put it out there
I love
and, let it happen. Allow it.
I love that. Because intention really is the name of the game, isn't it?
It
No
sure
matter what.
is.
And people don't seem to realize that. People just don't understand that. I tell people, when you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed and you stub your toe, take a minute and breathe and let that go. Because
Right.
if you don't, you're putting an intention on your whole day.
That's right.
And if you don't believe me, think about the times you woke up, you stubbed your toe, you go in, you nail your shin on the tub, and then next thing you know, you don't have hot water, and then the toilet backs up, and it just goes downhill from there.
Well, it's also about not kidding yourself. You may say to somebody, "Oh, well, that's so sweet. You're so wonderful." And really inside you're going, "Get away from me. I can't stand talking to you."
Yeah,
That's your intention.
yeah,
That's what's really coming across in the communication. Your
yeah,
words really don't mean anything when it comes to that. And the thing is the more psychic/sensitive you become, the more you can see that happening in real time.
yeah. And I always keep a blank mind when I'm talking to somebody. I keep a blank mind. And it's not because I'm trying to think that they're not worth something. It's literally because I want to be in the moment. I want to be right now. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to give you the best return response that I can. And if I'm not listening to you, I can't do it.
Truly,
You
that's
know,
how I do it too.
yeah, it's like my phone. I always hide my phone even though it's plugged in because the minute it starts going beep beep beep, I look down and it takes me out of my awareness, and I can't get back. It takes me 5 more minutes to get back into what you were saying.
Mhm.
You know, so it's that intention got pushed someplace else, and it's almost like telling somebody you're not worth my time when
Right.
really you are. You know,
Absolutely. There's really nothing more important than our relationships to each other.
yeah,
Because if we can't honor each other, we can't honor ourselves. If we can't honor ourselves, we can't honor our walk, their walk, the walk of we're all walking each other home. You
yeah,
know, it's the foundation to me.
yeah. I love that. Well, Deb, I was gonna at this is point usually I go, hey, what's your website? But you know what? We let people know. I want you to re-say it again so that people know where to find you. I think what you do is so worthy, and people need to know about it. And the fact that you know, you give to so many, you know, this platform to say, hey, come on in, let's learn, let's experience, let's be one together in the moment. You know, so I want people to know you.
Well, thank you. I love having a moment to speak with you because we've been trying to forever. And anybody else who's looking for me can find me at internalwilderness.com. My email is deb@internalwilderness.com. And if you're interested in the event, it's on that page, the Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Deb Thru. I want to say it correctly.
You did.
Now you should hear me later on in the show when I tried to. My producer's been laughing because there's a gentleman's name on there. He's even like broke it down, and I still massacre it every week for a year now. So, thank you so much for coming on. I so value you and the fact that you came on. And you know what? Someday we are going to have even more time to meet up, you know, and just really be able to talk. And maybe one of these years I'll get to you, and I know I will.
Well,
So
this will be the year.
this will be the year. This will be the year. You got it. So thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Dayette.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
You have a blessed day.
too.
Everybody, I will be back in a few moments with your weekly tarot reading to see what you do or don't need to know. And this is Jet Renee here on School Through Spirit with WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio. Thank you so much, Deb.
Oh, thank
I
you.
have so enjoyed you. Thank you.
This was a blast. You took me in different directions than my usual interviews, and I appreciate that. So
Yes, I listened to Spirit. Like, what do you want me to ask? What do you want me to ask? When they said, "What's for dinner?" I'm like, "You guys are on crack," you know. It's really,
oh, that's hilarious. No, really, it's the one other thing that people know me for is my food pictures on
I
my
had
website,
not,
on my Facebook page. So
I had not a clue. I mean, I just remember when you said something. About, I remembered seeing the Caesar salad last night, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember you posted that." But I don't actually look at Facebook. I get on there and I do this,
yeah,
but I
me
don't
too.
actually look at it. You know.
Me
So,
too.
well,
Well,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
I should leave now,
Yep,
right?
you
So,
just leave and then I continue for another half an hour. So
oh, okay. Well, thank you. Love
thank
you.
you so much.
Appreciate you.
Oh, so much, so much. You have a
Bye.
great day, Miss Deb.
You too.
Some hilarious bloopers and more. Remember, these two are veterans in the field and know how to capture the true evidence you are looking for. Ghostly-voices.com. Your paranormal stop for true audio evidence. Ghostly-voices.com.
Welcome back to School Through Spirit. I am your host, Jet Renee, here on WLTK Let's Talk Digital Radio. Now I'm going to tell you what WLTK-DB is, I believe, oh my gosh, and there you go. I wanted to Google it myself just to prove a point here. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's been going on for a while. So I will tell you what, I want you to know we are not on Facebook anymore, guys. We are on we are on the School Through Spirit page, and we are on the WLTK-DB YouTube page. Now, subscribe. Hit this. I'm going to hit it right now. Subscribe button. Okay. It literally is that way. When it comes on, you will be able to see every time that we are on. Now, I'm not sure. Here you go. It's on my phone. I don't know. Maybe if you're watching, if you can see that. But it's a great place to also go and look for those archives. Okay. Great place to go look at the archives, see where we're going, where we're doing. I love it. And if you really feel the need to find it on Facebook, I gotta. Oh my God, leg time. Anyway, so I've had Deb Thru on today, and I'll tell you what, she is a worldwide metaphysical tribe. And she really is this amazing, amazing soul that does so much for so many. I'll tell you what, really check into her website, look at it, go see it, see all the different things you can do, see if you can get into, to her event this year. If you can't this year, maybe next year. Follow her. So much that she does. And I'll tell you what, I have met Deb, probably, gosh, 4 years ago, at least 4 years ago. When I started doing events, and she would come by, say hi, introduce yourself, we'd talk, and I would always be booked, always be booked. And I'd always sit there and sit in regret going, wow, that's where I need to be. That's where I need to be. And I was always someplace else. So please take that time to get in there and check her out. You will not be sorry. She's amazing. Okay. She's amazing. So let's get on to our weekly reading. Okay. For those looking, we have got the Intuitive Soul Oracle card deck, and that is with Lisa Williams. I love these cards. I'll tell you what, they're really hard to find. They're far and few between. They're not being made or published anymore. So if you can find them, God bless. You know what? If you like the cards, go to wherever to see if they can still order a set for you. Because when they're gone, they're gone. Okay. And even when they're gone, I'm going to continue to use them. Why? Because I got 2 decks. I love these cards. I love them because I love the simplicity of the illustrations. I love them. They're so beautifully done. It has a little bit of what the card is, the name of the card above it, a little bit of inspiration down below. And they're easy to understand. I really love them. So I'm hearing 5 cards today. Okay. 5 cards. We're going to do that. Now you can pick a number 1 through 5. Okay. Which is easy to do. That 1 card will be your number inspiration for the week, something to kind of look at, something to do, something to deal with, something to refer back to. Okay. If you're feeling more than 1 card, pick 2, 3, 5. I don't care. This is your reading, whatever you need. Okay. So, let's do the 1 through 5. So as you see, I'm shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Let's do a little bit of cutting of the cards. And boom. There we go. So card number 1, family. Oh, I love this card. I love the ocean setting, the family on the beach, the seagull up there. It's union, family ties, togetherness, and friendship. And I really think that's kind of key here. Okay. And I'm really looking at those ties and that togetherness. Now it does say family ties, but I will tell you what, I'm thinking family means anything that is your family. It doesn't need to have to be a blood connection. Okay. Family really is that which you bring together. Because I'll tell you what, I have 1 sister in spirit, but I have a whole lot of soul sisters. Okay. And those soul sisters mean the world to me, and they're all over the world. They are amazing. I have my own tribe of my own, and it's amazing. But I think if you pick number 1 today, I think that's one thing you need to start looking at throughout this week is those unions, those friendships, those ties you have. It's really important to have those. If you're feeling like you're alone, if you're feeling very secluded, or like, I keep hearing this song, Must Go On, Must Go On. I can't even think of the name. Oh my God, Todd, Google for me. The show must go on is what I'm hearing, but I'm thinking, I know it's a show must go on, but I'm actually thinking about, people coming together and having that union, those ties, that support system. Okay. And I think that's something you need to start looking at. Card number 2, being equal, finding balance, acceptance, and we are the same. I'm going to take a moment to breathe. Okay. balance, 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 balance. Okay. Realizing that, and I think it kind of goes off the last card. Okay. Nobody ever said, oh, I can't say that because years ago they did say, but nobody ever says today that, you know what, you can't find balance within yourself or balance within your soul tribe. Okay. Finding balance, realizing that, you know what, we are the same. We are all equal. If you cut us, we do bleed and we all bleed red. It doesn't matter your color, the creed, the spiritual, the religion, sex, any of it. We are equal and the same. And maybe it's time for all of us to start taking ourselves off some pedestals and to realize how amazing we all are in our own right. And that, you know what, you can achieve this and you can achieve even further dreams. It's called getting that balance within yourself, realizing that you are just the same as anybody else, and that with your intentions and your desires, that you can go to any extremes as long as you have balance within them. Okay. So it's kind of looking at that, you know what, if I'm a workaholic, you have to put more family in or maybe more fun in. If you're all fun and no work, maybe you have to back off on the fun a little bit or find a job that is fun, you know, something, but really having that balance. Number 3. Oh my God, this spring card. I love this card too. I love this pretty tree. It's this gorgeous pink flowered tree. It's about new birth, vitality, and fresh start. So if you pick number 3, you are in new beginnings, guys. You are in new beginnings. Okay. Write the past off. Write the past off. Literally sit here and go, wow, you know what? Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Today is the first day of me. Today is a day that I'm accumulating all my experiences and all my knowledge and wisdom and going forth and going into whatever's that fresh start that I have coming forth to me. Today is this day to start. You know what? Do I want to do this job? Do I not want to do this job? Do I want to be in this relationship? Do I not? And just, you know what, making final decisions and realizing today is your first day to go forth. Okay. So get that fresh start, new beginnings. Wow, this is really weird how these cards are going because the next one is the relationship card. It's growth, understanding, compromise, love, relationship with self and others. You like this? Starting to see something with the cards kind of manifesting here. So this is really the relationship card. And it is about growth because you know what? You do have the relationship, but I love how on this card, it doesn't, even though it says relationship and compromise and all these wonderful things, it shows one person in the card, one beautiful woman holding a heart crystal, a crystal heart plant. Okay. Because you can see off that it feels almost like dandelion, you know, something gorgeous with almost like a dandelion leaf to it and this root system underneath. And it's gorgeous. But it's really, if you think about it, it's just like a dandelion that has these roots, okay, that just kind of go all over the place. And you kind of look at almost the ugliness of that, what people deem a weed, you know, something so beautiful can come from that, okay? Because as you're looking over your yard, and I don't know why I'm going dandelions here because it's something I just heard, is literally is something as that people call a weed. When you look over your yard, you have them all over. If you don't look at it the sense that it's a weed, it's this beautiful sea of yellow that's just spring and bright and beautiful. And not only that, you can continue on to that to the medicinal purposes of that dandelion. So it's no longer a weed or something of ugliness, but it's something of beautiful and something that can actually save your life in so many ways. It's very medicinal to you. And through that comes a fruit of health. Okay. So I want you to look within yourself, just like you would at a dandelion, to see that, to look at within yourself. And maybe this day is for you to look at that and see how amazing you are as a whole and how that growth from yourself comes and how beautiful you are and how much you do have to offer to yourself and to others. So look at that and have understanding of yourself when you see yourself not only in the mirror, but as you look inward. Now the last card. I'll tell you what, since I opened up this deck, this is the first card I've seen. It's a card I fell in love with when I seen this deck because it meant so much and so much representation. It is a wealth card, financial loss and gain, blessings, acceptance, that you are wealthy with love and emotion. But when I look at this card, it's got a penny in the dirt. Okay? Penny in the dirt. Now I'll tell you what, every time I see a penny in the dirt, I pick it up. And I express my gratitude to that, and I put it in my pocket, and I hold it for the day. And then I have a space in my room that I put these pennies. Okay? Because to me, there's nothing more wealthy than this penny that I find in the dirt. There's a lot of different meanings when I look at this. One is, yes, it's only 1 cent. 1 cent isn't going to, it costs more to make this penny than what this penny is worth. But pennies are also messages from heaven saying your loved ones are with you. When I collect all these pennies, it comes, it makes more than $1. So it starts to have a financial wealth. Okay. It's also when you find it, pick it up all day long, you'll have good luck. So when you look at this penny in the dirt that you pick up, it has so many meanings and so many representations. Folklore, the whole 10 yards, it's been with us for so long. So to realize that when you find a penny and you do see it, realize that you are worthy of the blessings that are being bestowed upon you. That you are so blessed with so much wealth of so many different aspects. Maybe it's not financial, but maybe it is of love. Maybe it is of emotion. Maybe it is, I'm wealthy because you know what? I'm satisfied with who I am. Okay. So number 1 is the family card. That is the unions and ties, togetherness, not being alone. Number 2 is realizing that you are equal. Everybody is equal. Find that balance within your life. Realize that nobody's better. Nobody is not as well as you are, and you are just as well as everybody else. Number 3 is spring, is new beginnings. It's time to start fresh, to go on from today on with a new understanding, a new sense of who you are. Number 4 is that relationship card. It's finding that growth within yourself. And that's the way I'm looking at this card, is realizing that you are that beautiful dandelion out there. You might feel yourself to be a weed, but boy, oh boy, you are so good for so many people, including yourself. And number 5 is that wealth card, okay? Realizing that, you know what, even in the smallest demeanor of what you might think something might be, so much beauty and so much wealth comes from that, okay? And as the words of Deb, as she said earlier, you know what, you might give a little now, but it comes back tenfold back at you every time, okay? So let's pull a card just as a clarify card. And this week let's use this instead. The Akashic Tarot. And this is by Sharon Ann Klinger and Sandra Ann Taylor, okay? Not a deck I pull out very often, but I do have it, been using a little bit more with my 4-year-old granddaughter because she's been learning how to do oracle cards. Love it. Every day she comes and goes, Nana, can we do cards? I'm like, that. So she picks out a deck that she wants to use, and I shuffle and I cut it. And then I ask her, how many cards today? And she almost always says 3. So we pull the top 3 cards. And my thing is to tell her what the cards are. And her thing is to find the cards in the book. I always tell people throw the book away. But I'll tell you what, she gets so excited when she sees a picture of that card and she can find it in the book. Okay. And the meaning doesn't change. It stays the same. So let's look what our clarifying card is. The heat's, come here, it's getting hot in here. I'm not going to go over the rest of that song. It's just the temperature starting to rise. Oh, the Kingdom of Keys. The Kingdom of Keys. Now, if I wanted a detailed message, I would probably open up the book and look at it. But when I look at this card, I'm seeing a king. He's on a beautiful, majestic white horse, and the colors of the kingdom must be red. And you do see his castle out there, and you do see the lands and everything else. But when I see the Kingdom of Keys, I'm looking at, you know what, when this king is out there on his own, when he's out there on his own, his key really to the kingdom is his strength. Okay, it's his strength. You don't see a whole tribe of soldiers around him, protecting him, keeping him safe. You see him by himself. His head is held high. He's looking up into the sky. He's got no nobility about him, but you can see a strong stature here. And it does show that really the key to his kingdom is his strength. It's knowing who he is. It's surrendering to who he is. and moving forward. Okay. So when I'm looking at this, look at yourself and realize that your world depends on your own personal strength. So find your growth, find your strength, grow what you need to have good solid root system, and believe in yourself. Okay. This card will go against every one of those for this week. So it doesn't matter which card you pick today. Find the strength within it. Find the strength within yourself. Okay. So with that being said, as you know, I'm going to take a picture of this because we do that online every time. And it's just because I have this habit of wanting to clean up after myself right away. So I'm going to lift up, clip, make sure I got a good one. Got it. Perfect. We'll crop out all the things like my thighs you don't want to see, and put that away. And then I will put that picture in School Through Spirit for you so that you have a reference to look back on every week. Okay. So this week, let's just recap a little bit. We talked a lot about surrendering. Okay. And I think we really had a good depiction of that today, a huge depiction of that today, actually, because as you notice in the very beginning, we talked about surrender. Okay. And on a lot of different notes, and a lot of different areas, being in the one, being aware, being right now in this moment, and surrendering to whatever comes. Okay. And then Spirit actually showed you, because I don't know how many times I've said it over and over again, but you know what? I just love to live. I love to live my life in that moment. I love to live my life in the moment of now, being aware. Because when I get a little out of sync, my life just doesn't feel like it's really progressing the way it should. Okay. And I really do this show based on surrendering, letting go. I no longer do all these wonderful things like I used to. Okay. These times I actually go and I surrender. And as you notice, I did that today. And what happened? I'd asked Deb all the questions that I wanted to ask her that Spirit had given me. And I literally went, Spirit, what else do I ask her? Like, we've covered so much. And they literally said, ask her what's for dinner. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, Deb, what's for dinner? And to find out she has a whole nother world out there that, you know what, I'm talking about the metaphysical, the worldwide metaphysical tribe. I'm talking about her tarot business. I'm talking about her life when it comes to the metaphysical psychic world. Not once did I ever think we were going to go into her day-to-day life and what some of her own personal passions are. And here Spirit said, let's talk about it. It's about surrendering, letting go. Okay. So for myself, I want you guys to take that, see the beauty of what happens, because when I let go, I lived in the moment, just surrendered to it. Spirit gave me a whole nother direction to go with and to find out even that much more about Deb today so that you guys could find the rest of it. Okay. Or hear more about her. So I am going to tell you, I'm copying this today and I'm going to put it on Facebook just for those people that still watch Facebook or looking at first Facebook so that they can get that. Okay. But what I want to do right now, is we are going to go over where this show is, where you can find it. I should have talked more about this in the very beginning. I was naughty and I didn't. Okay. So as everybody knows, we are now streaming on the YouTube channel, which is WLTK-DB. Okay. And with that, you can watch the show, not just listen to it. So that's one major thing. Okay. That is one major thing. Oh my God. I'm like looking. It's like, where did all my cheat sheets go? I'm so naughty. Did I lose them? I might have lost some. Who knows? I need to make my own little album here of all my cheat sheets, so that I can just go with it and just say, hey, here you go. So that's one big thing. Okay. Perfect. So let's talk about the shows for the week, okay? Because these shows are growing, they're coming on, they're getting huge. I love this. The station is building and building and building. Oh my God, it was just, I literally just had a thing come up in my streaming today. Now I'll tell you what, we've been doing this show, me and Todd, School Through Spirit, for over a year now. Okay, I can't even tell you when my year anniversary date is, my very first show, but we have been doing this for over a year now, which to me is like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Or maybe it's just been a year. I don't know, because me and Todd have been working together well over a year, because he took a long time to train me because I was not surrendering. Okay, I didn't think I could do this. I was really in my head. So that was really cool. But since then, we started off with School Through Spirit and then his show, Haunted Voices, and it has just grown. Okay, and this is a list of shows that we have got so far, and more are coming. So Monday mornings, we start with me, School Through Spirit, and that's on at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Tonight, later on, we have got the Paranormal Crypt Show, and that's at 8 p.m. Okay, and that is with Jay and Stacy Fountain. Amazing show. You gotta just enjoy that show. Tuesday evenings are busy. They're busy. At 7 p.m., we have New Bridge Radio, and that is with Kevin Mackey. And from there, we go on to Haunted Voices Radio at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that's with our very own Todd Bates. And on from that, God, please help me on this name, is Paranormal Pete, and that is Pete Orbea. God, I hope I said it correct. I'm so sorry, Pete. I have said it correctly. Hey, Todd said, yes, I got it. Orbea, we got it. There we go. Enjoy Pete's show because it's an amazing show. Wednesday evenings, we go on to the Good Shit Show, and that's on at 7 p.m. with Missy Hart, Nicole Ford. Thursday evenings at 8 p.m., we have got the Afterlife Chronicles, and that is with Nicole Strickland. Nicole Strickland is also a co-host with the Haunted Voices with Todd. So 2 ways to find her. On to Friday evenings, we have got Remember Me Radio, and that is with Tori Smith and Renee Rodriguez. Now, they alternate Fridays, okay? And the alternation is Secrets Within Radio, and that's with Renee Rodriguez and Robert Rye, okay? Robert Rye. So every other week, you can get this with them, okay? Which is super awesome. I'll tell you what, it's super awesome. Our shows give you so much to listen to. Now, if you have missed our show, okay, there are so many ways to find us. 1, YouTube. Oh my God, click YouTube, hit the search button, look for WLTK-DB. You can find us there. So if you're a YouTuber type person, go to YouTube. There's other ways to listen to us because you got the world of podcasts. And there's so many people that listen to podcasts. Now, we are in a lot of different forums. We have got Podbean. We have got Apple Rate, our podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and you heard it here, Amazon Music. To me, that was the pinnacle. Where are we going to go from there? Who knows? The sky's the limit. But you can find us in podcast form everywhere, okay? Again, just look for WLTK DB, you can find us. Now, you will not be able to search just School Through Spirit, okay? Even though I'm down there, even though my show is listed there, look for the station name because we're all under the station and go from there, okay? So as always, thank you so much for showing up. Oh, I wanted to say, if you ever want some really good, amazing water, oh my God, I found this yesterday. Oh, I love it. You've all heard of Smart Water, right? This is Smart Water Plus, like the plus sign. Got these pretty label colors, and from what I've seen, I found clarity. It's got ginseng green tea extract in the Smart Water. I love it. There's also 2 other flavors that I picked up that I haven't tried yet because I'm hooked on this one. I'm so hooked on this one. But I'll tell you what, I know one's got tangerine. I can't even think of what the other one is, but enjoy it. You know what? If you can find it, search for it, buy it, enjoy it. It's amazing. And Smart Water, if you're watching this, yes, I'm putting in a little doot for you. So here you go. I think the last time I did that was Kit Kat bar, just because I had one on my desk, by the way, which eventually got old and threw away. But Smart Water, I'm going to drink it all day long. So with that being said, everybody, thank you for coming. I can't wait to see you until next week. Who is on next week? You know it. Let me see. Oh, you got to listen to the show. Jose is on next week. Let me see. I know his last name. He's a friend. Isn't this awful? I'll tell you what. Even my friends, I don't know their last name. Jose Masas Carballo. If I didn't look at it, I could say Carballo. I'm going to just totally massacre that name. He is the owner of Versatile DJ Entertainment, Mirror Booths, and Photo Booths, along with Versatile Landscaping. This man is amazing. I'll tell you what, he is an inspiration. Is he part of the spiritual world and what I normally talk to? No. But does that matter? No, because I'll tell you what, this man has not only made it, he has made his own story, and he builds it every time you turn around. So you give this man nothing and he's going to make something huge out of it. And you need to take your time to come on and listen to him next week, because this story is going to rock your world and everything he does and gives back to his community. So we'll see you next Monday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, with me, your host, Diet Renee, on School Through Spirit with WLTK. Let's Talk Digital Radio.